大家好，今天是美国东部时间10月17号星期五，欢迎收看时事金扫描，我是金然。别忘了订阅我们的频道啊，支持我们点赞、留言，并且推荐转发。有人问啊，说川普最近四处去灭火，又是以哈停火交换人质，又是要和泽连斯基和普京再次见面，都是在忙远处别国别人的事儿，自己眼前扫毒的事儿干得怎么样了？前一段往委内瑞拉附近又是派军舰又是派战机的，如今有什么大的进展吗？还真有。最近川普的2次讲话和1次新的军事部署，基本上是把拿下马杜罗、搞定委内瑞拉的事儿推到了张弓拉箭的地步。先是川普15号在白宫说了一句话，在我看来已经等于是在亲自敲起将要进攻的战鼓。川普的这句话非常有意思，他说我们已经控制了委内瑞拉附近的海洋，现在要搞定它的陆地了。
What's the next step in this war on cartels, and are you considering options? Are you considering strikes on land?
Well, I don't want to tell you exactly, but we are certainly looking at land now because we've got the sea very well under control. We've had a couple of days where there isn't a boat to be found. And that I view that as a good thing, not a bad thing. But we had tremendous amounts coming in by boats, by very expensive boats. You know, they have a lot of money, very fast, very expensive boats that were pretty big.And the way you look at it is every boat that we knock out, we save 25,000 American lives.
如果说这只是川普透露了要对委内瑞拉动手的意图，那么最让独裁者马杜罗心惊肉跳的就是川普之后说的另一番话。川普亲口承认已经授权给美国中央情报局，也就是 CIA 在委内瑞拉展开秘密行动的权利，而且呢是致命性行动。啥叫致命性？说白了就是不排除突袭、斩首、干掉目标。而一旦 CIA 被总统授权了，那就意味着不用再层层请示，有机会就会动手。为啥川普会紧盯着委内瑞拉和马杜罗呢？川普透露说，美国国内芬太尼等毒品危机严重，每年有10万人死于过量吸毒，而这些毒品很多都是从委内瑞拉转运过来的。川普可不是随便说说吓唬谁啊！据报道，美国的第160特种作战航空团的直升机从专门执行秘密行动的叫做海洋贸易者号上起飞，飞到了距离委内瑞拉边境仅140公里的区域。而这个160特种作战航空团可正是当年执行击毙本拉登的特种部队之一。如今这支代号叫做夜袭者的部队进驻委内瑞拉周边地区，标志着美军随时可能会实施最大胆的突袭行动。而另一个军事动向被多方认为是川普向马杜罗发出最后警告。最近多家媒体证实，至少有2架美军的叫 B-52H 同温层堡垒远程战略轰炸机从美国的路易斯安那州叫巴克斯戴尔空军基地起飞，飞向了加勒比海地区。这个地区呢，距离委内瑞拉海岸以北大约300公里。有人认为美军的行动缺乏发起打击的政治合法性，说白了就是 美军你凭什么可以去打委内瑞拉的马杜罗呢？其实人们发现啊，美国国务卿卢比奥早在今年的7月底就已经公告天下了，美国为什么可以并且要打这个马杜罗。卢比奥明言，马杜罗不是委内瑞拉的总统，他的政权也不具合法性。马杜罗是毒贩集团太阳集团的头目，这是一个控制了委内瑞拉的毒品恐怖组织，他因向美国走私毒品而被起诉，因此美国打击马杜罗和他的政府等同于清剿毒品集团和大毒枭，绝不会手软。马杜罗最近明显是被吓坏了，尽管他对内还在趾高气扬、意气风发，但昨天媒体透露，马杜罗已经悄悄地在私下向美国政府服软了，愿意用委内瑞拉的石油等自然资源为代价向川普政府求和，但要求允许他继续执政，在3年之后交出总统职位，但被川普是一口回绝了。本来以为这只是媒体在猜测或者捕风捉影的说法，但川普今天说了一番话，不但极罕见地对马杜罗爆了粗口，也等于是证实了这个事儿居然是真的。这句话一出口，等于是断了马杜罗的所有的退路。
Everything in his country, all the natural resources. He even recorded a message to you in English recently, offering mediation. What should we do in order to stop that?
He has offered everything. He's offered everything. You're right. You know why? Because he doesn't want to fuck around with the United States.
有意思的是马杜罗一边地下求情，表面上仍是一副宁死不屈的架势，为了给自己以及手下喽啰壮壮胆儿，一会儿搞个军事视察，是一会儿派出几架战机，假模假式的象征性飞向美军舰队。最近呢，又开始搞了3军联合演习。搞笑的是这个演习演成什么样，我们还没看到。但其中的一艘海军登陆舰叫卡帕纳号，竟然在登陆演习的时候搁浅了。你听说过战舰搁浅，还真没见过专门靠岸用的登陆舰也会搁浅。而更尴尬的是，船里边还有大约300军人和好几辆的2栖战车，这还没见到美军的影呢，就自己先把自己干趴下了。最新消息，刚刚川普对外公布了一个惊人的消息，美军攻击了一艘潜艇，而这艘潜艇是专为运输大量毒品而建造的运毒潜艇。
That was in a submarine, right? We attacked a submarine, and that was a drug-carrying submarine built specifically for the transportation of massive amounts of drugs. Just so you understand, this was not an innocent group of people. I don't know too many people that have submarines, and that was an attack on a drug-carrying, loaded-up submarine.
天气变化时节，身体最需要保养，可以考虑普瑞堂的选宝黑参。选宝黑参有2种产品。一种是完整的一根一根的黑参，真空包装，送礼体面；另外一种是口服液。2种产品的原料都是用韩国产的6年根的高丽参，再经过传统古法酿造而成。很多用过选宝黑参的朋友都体会到黑参补充体力和提升免疫力的效果。如果感兴趣的话，可以点击电视下方的链接，或者是扫描屏幕上的2维码，然后输入给我们观众的专用优惠码，就可以享受全球的免费邮寄。如果您购买500美元的普瑞堂的产品，还可以获赠1根选宝黑参的原根。 今天下午，全球关注的川普和泽连斯基在白宫的会谈终于登场。川普呢是等在了白宫门外迎接泽连斯基，明显感到泽连斯基要比上次来白宫时候这个体态要自然自信了不少。美乌还没开始谈判，双方的官员就要先面对媒体的长枪短炮，而川普一上来就以川式幽默先夸赞了一番泽连斯基的装束。
Thank you very much. Very good. And I think it looks beautiful in his jacket.
Yeah.
It's beautiful. I hope people notice. It's actually very stylish. I like it.
而川普的另外一段形容泽连斯基的话则开始走心了，应该是川普之前从未对泽连斯基有过的赞誉。我觉得这段话一出等于为这次会谈打下了一个可以更融洽和更深入的基调。
Well, thank you very much, everybody. It's an honor to be with a very strong leader, a man who has been through a lot, and a man who I've gotten to know very well, and we've gotten along really very well. And we had a big call yesterday, as you know, with President Putin, and we'll be talking about it. President Zelensky of Ukraine has endured a lot. I mean, he really has. He's endured a lot, and we've endured it with him. To be honest, it's been a long time, and I think we're making great progress.
对于家里还处于硝烟弥漫战争之中的泽连斯基来说，似乎他没有太多心情去谈天说地，一上来就直奔主题武器，而且呢强调了乌克兰获得安全保障的重要性。
Yes, but the most important thing for people in Ukraine, which are under each day's attacks, to have really strong security guarantees. NATO is the best, but weapon is very important. Allies on our side is very important, and between us, for us, bilateral security guarantees between me and President Trump is very important. I don't know, we didn't speak with details about it, but this is the most important document because United States is very strong.
而面对众多的记者，两位总统都被问到了非常敏感的问题。有记者问川普是否担心普京的昨天那通电话可能是在试图为自己争取更多的时间，而川普并没有躲避这个问题，而是给出了仍然很川普式的回答。
With Putin, aren't you concerned that maybe the Russian president is trying to buy himself more time?
Yeah, I am, but you know, I've been played all my life by the best of them, and I came out really well. So it's possible, yeah, a little time. It's all right. But I think that I'm pretty good at this stuff. I think that he wants to make a deal.
川普还特别强调，他上台以来就已经达成了8次协议，第9次也即将会达成。看来川普对此是很有信心。而记者也没有放过泽连斯基有记者让泽连斯基评论一下川普和拜登在外交政策上的最大差异。说实话，泽连斯基的回答角度还真是很有政治技巧。而川普在最后追加的那一句话则完全是不讲政治，更是把政治正确是一脚踢开。
When we were in Israel with President Trump earlier in the week, we heard a lot about the difference in diplomacy between President Trump and President Joe Biden before him. What do you see as the biggest difference in diplomacy between President Trump and President Biden?
President Trump has a big chance now to finish this war. President Biden now is not the president, so he doesn't have a chance to finish this war. And President Trump is really showed for the world that he can manage ceasefire in Middle East, and that's why I hope that he will do this, and we will also have such big success. For Ukraine, it's a big chance, and I hope that President Trump can manage it.
I would say the biggest difference is one is extremely competent, and the other one is grossly incompetent.
Mr. President.
据报道，泽连斯基这次来白宫做了充分的准备，他向川普提出，乌克兰将向美国提供数千架的低成本但经过战火考验的无人机，作为交换，美方提供战斧导弹和使用许可。为了说明这个战斧导弹的重要性，他还向川普展示了一张标注着俄罗斯国防工业基地和军事基地的地图，说明可以借助这个战斧的施压，促使普京尽快停止战争。泽连斯基还补充到说，要打击军事目标，必须动用数百架的无人机配合战斧导弹。我们是有无人机的，却没有这个导弹。而当乌克兰记者问川普是否会允许乌克兰使用美国武器深入打击俄罗斯本土的时候，川普回答说，是的，我们下面就是要讨论这个问题了。在这个记者会之后，川普和泽连斯基的闭门正式会议才正式登场，超出预期的时间，据说会谈持续了2个多小时。而川普之后发帖为这次会晤做了总结，他是这么说的：与乌克兰总统泽连斯基的会晤既精彩又融洽，但我告诉他，正如我对普京总统强烈建议的那样，是时候停止杀戮，达成协议了。流血已经够多，疆界已由战争与勇气划定，双方应该停火休战，让双方都宣称胜利，让历史来裁决，停止枪击，停止死亡，停止耗费庞大且不可持续的资金。若我担任总统，这场战争本就不该爆发，每周数千人遭杀戮，够了，请大家平安返家，与家人团聚。而看到这篇推文的泽连斯基当即就表示说，他同意川普总统的说法，俄乌双方现在都需要先停止战火。
We have to stop where we are, and he is right. President is right that we have to stop where we are. This is important to stop where we are, and then to speak.
看来这次川普和泽连斯基的会晤，特别是最后川普的这篇贴文，又会引发各方的不同看法，甚至是激烈争论。那么您是怎么看待这次会晤的意义，以及俄乌战争的走向呢？好了，这一次的时事金草苗我们就聊到这儿了，需要您持续的支持啊，请订阅我们的频道，点赞、留言，并且推荐转发给您的亲朋好友。如果愿意在资金上直接给我们支持，就更加感谢您了。我们下期节目时间再会。